Hey, what's up, Boxers? This is Zack with Buildbox. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 ways that you can help get your game looking ready for a publisher. Let's check them out. First on the list is choose a great color palette. Now, to do this, you need to know what colors go together. Now let me show you a few examples. Okay, now white pretty much goes with everything, especially blue, red, and black. Gray also goes with a lot of things, especially with red, violet, pink, and blue. Red also goes with yellow, white, green, blue, and black. Orange goes with blue, violet, white, and black. And black is another one like white that goes with a lot of colors, especially orange, pink, salad green, white, red, and yellow. And if you don't know what salad green is, then you probably are spending too much time in McDonald's. Now I'm going to be putting a link in the description to a site where you can see what color combinations go together, but one website in particular that you've got to check out is colorlovers.com. Okay, so this is what colorlovers.com looks like. All right, and it's spelled with the, I think the English or the British spelling, where it's got the O-U-R in it, so don't miss that. Now, I'm going to put a link to the colorlovers.com in the description as well, but when you type in something like forest into the search bar, which is what I typed in here for this search result, you get things like an enchanted forest, nature walk, secret forest, forest wedding, magic forest, and you'll notice that these are really great color palettes. They all go together pretty well, and a lot of them are very muted colors, okay? Not too saturated, and it's a really great resource, so definitely check out colorlovers.com. Now, number 2 on the list is avoid using overly saturated colors. You got to use muted colors with game development. That's what's working right now. Now, what are muted colors? And let me go ahead and show you right now. So here's the difference between saturated and muted colors. The ones on the left are saturated and the ones on the right are muted, and you can see that the ones on the left have a much deeper color, and it's a little bit harder on the eyes, and the ones on the right are a little bit softer, and you might think that they're a little bit kiddish or a little bit childish, but they are what is working right now in the game development industry, and it's been like this for a few years. Now, if you don't believe me, let me go ahead and show you some examples of the top games in the App Store right now, and let's see what they're doing. So as of June 4th, 2018, the third game in the top free in the App Store is a game called Rise Up. Now, if you take a look at this is super muted colors, all right? And there's also a little bit of a gradient on the mountains and on the blue background. It just has a slight gradient. Now, second in the App Store right now, in the top free, is a game called Drawn In. And now this is another game that is using heavily muted colors. There's no colors that are too saturated, and so it's really easy on the eyes. And then the number 1 game in the App Store right now in the top free is a game called Sling Drift. And you can see here that these are also have muted colors. The road is not pitch black, it's not just stark black. And then you can see that the green is a nice soft green instead of a really heavy saturated green, okay? And so these are the pro colors that you need to be using if you want to get your game ready for a publisher. Now, there are a couple exceptions to the rule, and there's always a couple exceptions, and I just want to show you both of these games were published by Ketchup and developed by a game development company called Monkey Food. Now, the game on the left, Rider, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, this game did really well, and it was up there in the top 10 of the top free in the App Store for a couple weeks. And then also the game on the right is published by Ketchup, and this game is called Horizon, and this game is also doing very well. Now, you'll notice that both of these games have a certain aesthetic style. I would say that both of them don't use too heavily saturated colors. Maybe Rider a little bit more. You can see that purple is a little bit more of a deeper purple, but you can see that the blade that they're using is a very soft muted red, and I mean especially compared to the Ketchup red that you see there in the middle. All right, and Horizon is also using a nice muted color over on the right, and it's got a real soft blue, and even down near where the ship is, those colors are not too heavily saturated. But the one big thing that they're doing here, the one thing that they're pushing, is they're accenting both of these games with these bright neon colors. Now, that's a glowing effect that is working for some games right now. I've also seen Voodoo releasing a game that has a very similar aesthetic style where it's It's less saturated colors, more muted colors, and there is some of that neon aesthetic, but it's only just a little bit of trim. It's just accenting the rest of the game. It's not heavily neon. Number 3 is you want to use gradients, especially for backgrounds. Now, what are gradients? And let me go ahead and show you what these are. So these are some examples of gradients. And you can see that gradients are just one color slowly turning into another color. So the blue is turning into purple, that kind of peach color is turning into purple, and then I've got an example of red kind of turning into gray. Now let me show you some examples of some top games that rely heavily on gradients. Okay, so here are some top games. Monument Valley, which did really well. It's a super popular game. Both Monument Valley 1 and Monument Valley 2 both use these gradients. Stack from Ketchup also uses a nice gradient. And Helix Jump, which is a top game in the App Store right now, put out by Voodoo. And this one has also got a nice gradient on the right there. But it's not just gradients. You can see that these games don't just use gradients. They actually use a little bit of something else to kind of spice up the gradient. So this brings me to my fourth and last point of this video, and it's going to be a short one. You want to spice up the gradient backgrounds with a few effects. All right, now here's some main menu examples from PIXELBOX that give you a nice idea of how to take the gradients and add a little something to them. So on the left there's some spikes that you could add to the gradient, and that kind of improves things a little bit. We've got some polygon art there on the second from the left, which is also a great added effect. And the stars example for this one is where you leave the camera on a night sky for a really long time, and so you see the slow progression of the rotation of the stars. And then there's a couple bubbles thrown in there as well. And that leads me to the fourth example over here on the right. That is the green one with a bunch of bubbles that are thrown in, and it's a really nice effect. So there's a couple different things that you can do to spice up the gradient background. Now here's another look at some of the top games, and you can see that they don't just go with gradient backgrounds. Monument Valley uses some little tiny stars. Same thing with Stack, just these little tiny pixels, little tiny stars that are drifting down. And then Helix Jump looks like it's using little bubbles. So you don't want to just use a gradient background. You want to just throw in a little something extra to make it look really professional. Now it's very easy to find these types of artwork. You just layer them over your images already, and then you turn down the opacity until it looks right. Now I hope this video helps and it gives you some ideas of some of the aesthetics that publishers are looking for. Alright Boxers, that's it for this video. I hope you thought it helped, and if you think this video is useful and you want to see more videos like this, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Alright, see you later Boxers.
Like and subscribe.